Okay, I had an excellent question come up, and I'm going to try to speak to it real quick and get this up tonight as soon as I can. And it is, how do these strikes get called and how do they get organized? Well, generally speaking, one union will put out a call for a strike, a call to strike. They'll do like a press release, put that out on social media, on the radio, etc. Sometimes multiple unions get together, or the leaders thereof get together and talk about all of this kind of stuff and call for a strike and put out a strike. Convocatoria is what they call, right? They say, we are calling for a strike on this date, in this place or these places at this level, and here are the reasons, here are the strike demands, here's what we're asking for, and here are the things that we expect to do as far as a strike is concerned. Some things are kind of taken for granted, like that there might be roadblocks. Roadblocks are pretty classic, or that people will simply close their doors and not be working. That's why a paro, P-A-R-O, like a stoppage, is sort of the classic name for a strike. In Spanish, that's the word, generally speaking. Huelga tends to mean something bigger that can include protests and riots. Protesta is a general protest. Marcha is a march. And so these are the things that get called for. And many of these things will be laid out in the press release type thing that goes out about all of that. Now, let's say one union calls for it, and then another union agrees and puts out their statement and says, we are also upholding the strike. And then more unions do. And then more and more unions agree to participate in all of that. There still may be smaller organizations that have not put out press releases because they don't feel that they are big enough, or they may be spreading the word of mouth, how they do that around, by word of mouth, and not actually publishing it as like formal statements or what have you. And you will also have some organizations that say, no, we're not upholding this strike. We're not doing that. And there are literally hundreds of these organizations in any region that can say that they are going to participate in a strike. And there are also like groups of 2 and 3 vendors in a small conglomerate of stores that might decide that they're going to do it. And there are individual taxi drivers that might decide that they're going to go along with what the general union says, even if they're not part of that union. Or these are just for examples, right? And so it is impossible to say, generally speaking, until the moment when the strike is supposed to start, exactly how strong that strike is going to be. But there are some indicators that tend to be more reliable than others, such as if specific unions that are large and powerful say that they are going to uphold the strike, or say that they aren't. So that's how it is. So one of the things that's happening in Cusco right now is that there is one union, one sindicato, that has put out a statement that has been making a lot of rounds, and especially it is seeing a lot of popularity among the English speakers who live in the Cusco area, who are sharing it around. And they have said, no, we are not upholding the strike on the 9th of February, which is tomorrow. And so a number of people have said, oh, well, that means there's not going to be a strike tomorrow. That is not what that means. It means that union isn't participating in the strike. Okay? It doesn't mean that there won't be any strike. I personally feel fairly confident in saying that we will see some pronounced strike action tomorrow, because among the unions that have said that they plan to uphold it is the Union of Servicio Urbano, or public transit buses, as well as the Taxi Drivers Union. And so that generally means that that will immobilize the city to a great degree. There will be private cars going around, probably, but we'll see how that goes. And then it's going to depend how strong roadblocks are and what policing action is like, and a number of other things like that, and where those roadblocks happen. So I would not bet on doing any travel tomorrow, the 9th of February. I would bet on being able to walk around Cusco and things being fairly normal within the city itself, but I would not bet on doing any extensive travel to other towns, for example. I wouldn't count on markets being open. I wouldn't count on a whole lot of stuff like that. So, that is based on experience, 46 years of experience with seeing how strikes happen in the Cusco area. So make of it what you will.